Okay, before I introduce my next guest, I just want to take the time to thank all of my amazing guests for their fantastic contribution to this channel. I'm so blessed that they've taken the time to chat with me and that you've taken the time to watch it. Thank you so much. Okay, on to my next guest. Please take a listen to my interview with Ross Harmon.
Awesome. So my first question for you is, growing up, who were your musical influences?
So when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the Irish band The Cause.
I love The Cause.
Like, I'm not just saying obsessed. Like, this obsession was borderline not okay. Like, I learned to play the violin and the drums because I wanted to be able to play along to them, and
Okay.
I still listen to all the music, but I was actually thinking about this the other day because I was writing some music the other day, and the way that they write lyrics is very kind of whimsical and oldie worldy, because it's got that kind of Celtic influence, and it's really influenced the way that I write lyrics as well. Telling a story, not necessarily my story, but telling someone else's story as well through lyrics. And yeah, I noticed it the other day. And then when I kind of got to about 14, Lady Gaga was like my new obsession.
Queen.
She kind of still is. And again, just because she tells a story, and she's such a versatile performer as well. And I think definitely in my career, I've always tried to maintain a bit of versatility. Like, I still write and sing and produce pop songs as well as do musical theatre, and like that's been so important to me to kind of keep that versatility alive, because it's so important to kind of do that when you're focusing on one part of your career. And it's great to narrow down and be kind of like, not a one trick pony is the wrong thing to say, but like to be really proficient in one thing is great. But then sometimes when you've got your fingers in other pies, as it were, you kind of enhance your craft completely, kind of more 360 degree rather than just focusing on one thing.
I think as well, like, that's so true. Those kinds of like little influences you have along the way, they kind of like all feed into one, don't they? So and also it is great to like keep yourself occupied with different things, because they're the things that open doors. And it's always nice when you're really fixated on one thing or one style or one genre. Like, sometimes it becomes very like mechanical, the way that you do stuff. And I think, like, if you've got a little bit more of an idea of different things, and if you're very much open to a lot of things, that's where, for me personally, that's where it's like, oh, I didn't think of that. Or somebody says to you, that's really cool because that's like such and such, and you're like, oh yeah, didn't mean it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because humans are like naturally multifaceted creatures. We're naturally able to do loads of different things. Like, we're programmed to be good at many different things, but this is getting really deep. Modern society has kind of trained us into kind of doing one thing. You know, you wake up in the morning, you go to work at 9, you come home at 5, you just do one thing, and that's it. Whereas kind of human beings are naturally more programmed to do loads of different things, which is why a career in musical theatre, performing arts, whatever, is so kind of great for somebody like me who does like enjoy doing different things. Because with the best will in the world, you're never going to be doing musical theatre every day anyway. There's going to be times when you're out of work or you're looking for work, and having other strings to your bow is so important, because instead of, you know, I work in fitness as well as in musical theatre, and having that as kind of like a dual career has been great for me, because now I have two things that fulfill me. So when I'm not doing one, I'm doing the other. And there's nothing wrong with kind of finding a muggle job and working in a pub and working in a bar when you're not doing musical theatre, because we've got to make ends meet. But I just feel very lucky that I have two things that genuinely fulfill me. So I think human beings we're not designed to just do one thing always. We evolve and we grow, and I think that's so important to kind of stay on top of that.
Always be like thinking about the next thing, the next challenge, the next opportunity. On it.
Absolutely.
I love that. So talk us through your journey so far. Like, you said that you left home at 19. What was the first thing that you did, and you know, how has that journey kind of led you to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I was just always singing, always, and did loads of musical theatre growing up, and was always writing. Even for, like, I started writing music probably 12, 13, and I was always writing, like producing, singing in a show. And then I left school and I became a fitness instructor at 18, and I moved to London with like a fitness job at 19,
Awesome.
and I was so fulfilled by it at the time, and it never kind of occurred to me that I should probably be pursuing singing. And I also probably didn't have enough confidence and didn't really think I could. So yeah, I moved to London. I was hell bent on moving to London anyway, so that probably had something to do with it. Like, what was my quickest route? When I was 19, worked in fitness for a little while, and then I went to uni at 20. I did a degree in English language.
Awesome.
Which again was amazing because I'm so interested in language, and my course was, I kind of tailored it towards language acquisition and how we acquire language as humans, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And then in my kind of final year of uni, a friend said to me, "You're too good at singing to not be doing it professionally. Like, why are you not even considering it?" And then I just went, "That's it. I'm going to at least give it a go."
Yeah.
I applied to LSMT, which is the school that I went to, and got in, and had the best year of my life training in musical theatre. LSMT is a 1-year course as opposed to Arts Ed or somewhere, which is a 3-year
Yeah.
course. I think because I was a bit older, a course like LSMT was perfect for me, because I already had kind of like a lot of the skills that I needed. They just needed packaging and putting into like tying up with a bow on top. I think if I'd have gone to a 3-year, I probably would have been an amazing triple threat. Like, so, but I don't regret doing a 1-year course at all, because as well it taught us so much vocational stuff, but it also gave us a really personal touch. They were really focused on you being an individual and bringing out the best of you, rather than kind of carbon cutting triple threat performers.
Yeah.
And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the school that does want to do that, because, you know, there's certain schools that kind of whack out triple threat performers that work because they're so versatile and they're great at singing, dancing and acting. But kind of LSMT was focused on your own skills and kind of making you the best that you can be as an individual. And then as like a week after I graduated, got my agent, and I went for a few auditions and landed Sky and Mamma Mia on Royal Caribbean cruise ship. And September last year, so that was July I graduated, September last year I flew out and rehearsed, and then March this year came home. But no, it was the best 6 months it ended up being on the ship, because what training doesn't teach you is the day-to-day things of being a professional performer, and a cruise ship was actually such an incredible environment to learn that, because the audiences there's much less pressure from a cruise ship audience because they've paid for their holiday. So seeing Mamma Mia on a cruise ship is just the biggest bonus in the world. So you're already on the front foot. Then take into account that some of them have never really been to the theatre before. So this is we had the pleasure of being people's first musical theatre experience. You know, even people in their 50s, 60s who might live in the middle of America and don't have access to musical theatre and just watch films and stuff, being someone's kind of first experience was crazy. Also, the production values are so high on the ships. The casts are incredible. So being able to learn from other professionals so quickly after graduating in such a great environment that was, you know, I don't want to say low pressure because it had its own pressures, but there definitely wasn't the pressure of kind of like reviewers and you know,
Yeah, sure.
in tonight, you know, this agency in or this casting director's in. There was none of that pressure. So you kind of had, it was kind of like a playground, if you like.
Yeah.
A really amazing playground to cut your teeth and learn your craft. So it was the absolute best move that I could have done after graduation.
And what a brilliant first gig.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because the Mamma Mia production on the ship is the full show. It's the full production. You know, licensed by Little Star, who look after Mamma Mia internationally, so it's kind of like, am I really doing this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is it really me, sort of thing.
That's so cool and so exciting. So if you could play a female role, what would you love to have a go at?
I mean, if you could sit down anyone and they didn't say Elphaba, they're fully lying. Like I've had a few obsessions growing up. The Cause, Lady Gaga, and Wicked was like another one of my obsessions growing up, massively. And I look back and I'm like, these things really shaped me as a person. And so many people say that, and it sounds a bit like, but actually, being obsessed with Wicked, I made friends at Wicked that we were like, we'd stage door together and we'd watch the show together, and that kind of gave me a social aspect, and growing up finding like-minded people, and so I guess that was a real element of it. But yeah, I think Elphaba goes on such a journey, character-wise, and then also getting to sing crazy songs like that would like find me someone that wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Crack at it.
everybody don't. I teach like 7-8-year-olds, you know, right the way through up to 16-year-olds, and I have not had one child that hasn't said to me, have you heard this song, Jen? It's called Defying Gravity. And I'm like, yeah.
I haven't heard that one.
Play it to me, let me, you know. And I'm like, yeah. Honestly, if I had the voice for it, I would be going around singing it all the time. I mean, yeah. It's just one of, and also it's one of the most iconic musical theatre moments, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know,
I think especially for young people, like definitely when I was that age, I didn't feel like I fitted in everywhere. You know, there was definitely like I was different, and I was always singing, which when you're that age is like, why does he always sing? That's really
what
weird.
Are you doing?
Yeah, and I was kind of like I was kind of a bit dorky and whatever, and so kind of seeing this outcast on stage, I guess I don't think it was overly, like, I was obviously conscious of it. It must have been quite subconscious, but like that story of how someone can be outcasted and completely misunderstood, but actually has such a great heart, and it teaches a lot of stories as well. A show like that.
How many moments within the show does that character feel the feeling that you're feeling now, and what is it that gets her through those moments? It's the power, it is, you know, having something special inside you. We all have that, whether it's this, that, and the next thing. So you have to believe in yourself. So I think these characters and these shows not only are beautifully written and incredible scores and these fantastic people performing them, but also fundamentally they're brilliant for young kids who are either wanting to go into it or just, you know, trying to find their own path.
Yeah, and I think as well, like there's been a huge kind of surge of talk, like with like Black Lives Matter this year and stuff, and underrepresentation or representation in musical theatre or any form of kind of creative media, TV or whatever. And the fact that this character is green means that people, regardless of the colour of your skin, if you resonate with what she's going through, it's like, it's just a universal feeling, isn't it? And it's
definitely
male, female, or regardless of what you look like or where you come from. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's one of the faves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So karaoke, not karaoke. Such a craze. What 5 tunes would be your must for a karaoke?
Defying Gravity. Also, like absolute 80s bangers, like Wanna Dance with Somebody.
Bit of Whitney, yes.
I'm Not Even Sorry.
Don't be. They're the best ones.
To be honest, all of the songs that come to my head are 80s, like Wham and all of that. Stick the playlist on shuffle and go.
Yeah, just roll with it. Something will come up.
And during lockdown, I was doing Tuesday and Wednesday. I did like lockdown lives, they were called, and I would sit at my piano and just basically sing 5 songs every day. And because obviously I've sung loads of songs, but you never sing a song from start to finish, really.
No.
Well, I was doing 10 songs a week, 10 like songs that I've never sung a week, and most of them were 80s bangers, because you're like, oh, what do people want to hear? What do I want to sing?
Yeah,
So,
what
all the Whitneys, all the Whams.
what makes people feel good? And I think at this time particularly, like
Absolutely.
music, film, those kinds of things, like we're not reaching for the sob story films. We're not reaching
No.
for those songs that make you bawl your eyes out. I love Titanic, but I haven't watched it once since lockdown because I think it would have tipped me over the edge, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, what are
There's
we
no
looking
place for
for?
that, thank you.
No, but what are we looking for? And I think people are looking for, that little bit of uplifting something, and
Yeah,
80s tick.
tick the box.
So for you, what is the most bizarre thing that you've ever been asked to do for a performance, a role, or maybe an audition?
This is going to count. I'm going to count this because it's one of my favourite memories of drama school. We were doing like audition prep, and
Okay.
and our head of drama was running the class, and she said they are going to throw anything at you when you walk in the room. And so we were all sat at the back like a fake panel, and other people were coming in, and she was getting them to like sing the song, but imagine that you are on a beach. Cool. So like everyone could do this. I come in and she says, hello, can you pretend to be a dog that, like, I can't remember what it was, like a dog that needs something, whatever, and don't stop until I tell you to.
Oh no.
So like when you're faced with this, you have 2 choices, you have 2 paths. You could either go, I absolutely cannot believe she's got me to do this, I hate it, and just go, worth.
Yeah.
Which actually I think probably 90 something % of people would do, and that's fine because come on. Or you have the other path, which is go, I am going to throw myself 110% into this next 10 minutes and just have the most fun.
Yeah.
So it took probably 10 seconds to think about what a dog does, like the intricacies of what a dog does, and I just went for it. And actually I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the room enjoyed it. And it's just like, obviously you get asked to do something that's outside your comfort zone pretty much every time you step into a room, like an audition room or a rehearsal room, and that's just the nature of the beast. So like it's a scale, isn't it? You know, sing this song that you've never sung before in front of people. That's on that scale of stuff outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Be a dog for 10 minutes is maybe a little bit further down the comfort zone scale, but nonetheless.
It still gives you that feeling though, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you can, and as a human being, as a performer, as a person, you can either thrive on it or be really daunted by it and kind of get caught up in it. And I think that moment where you go, let's just do it, is the moment that kind of like it's a turning point.
Yeah, definitely. I remember my drama school auditions, and one particular one was pretty like horrific. And yeah, I was asked to perform my song as a crocodile.
Lovely.
Yeah, and then I was asked to perform my speech as a depressed wedding cake, which again was just brilliant. My favourite one, Ross, was to perform my Shakespearean piece, Bit of Twelfth Night, as a sexually frustrated lawnmower, which was that was my favourite one. And I have to say, when you're 18 and you're faced with this, and I come from a very small little place in West Wales where, big fish, small pond, and this was just the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I was never asked to do anything like this before. I panicked massively.
Yeah.
And like fear just screamed at me because I thought I have no idea what you're asking, terrified. So then as I got older and I auditioned for more things and I did more drama school auditions and they threw things like that at me, I was like, okay,
I've got this.
You can do this. Because I was the same. I went to drama school at 20 and it was much better for me than if I'd have gone at 18.
And they want me to succeed because that makes their job easier. If I'm good, that makes their job easy. And that shift was the best thing to happen to me at drama school, because now you walk in and you're like, this is what I've got, I hope it's helpful to you, as opposed to, or please, like, don't test me. They don't want to see your execution, they want to see your commitment, and they want to see a creative idea. But it's so easy to get wrapped up in, like, oh, what can I do, rather than just going, let's just start and see what comes out.
See what happens. Well, yeah, because basically it's improvisation, isn't it? And that's what they're asking you to do. That's all they're asking you to do. You know, they know that you've prepared this script, so it's not even fully improvised. Which, I mean, like, you know, really, it's a little bit easier than if they'd have just said, right, here's the space, go. You know, you have actually got a little bit of material to fall back on there. You know the words coming up, so you kind of know where to accent and what you've got to play with. But the rest of it's just kind of up to, like you say, whatever happens, open your mouth and see what happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes what comes out is utter garbage. But other times you think, like, you go out of the room and you think, actually, I'm pretty impressed with what I did there. Like, that was actually, I don't think I'd ever be able to replicate it, but I think I did all right. So on to films now. What is your favourite genre of film, or your just favourite film? Do you have a favourite?
So I feel like I've really not painted the best picture of myself. The Cause, Lady Gaga, Wicked, Obsession.
Hey, I think you've painted a massively, like, yes.
So
go on.
I've never really been a film person. I can really appreciate what like a great film and a greatly directed film, and you know, I can appreciate it, but it's never been my kind of choice of spending 3 hours. I'd much rather go to the theatre or watch a series. But my favourite film of all time is Hocus Pocus.
Is it?
Mm.
I'm going to absolutely crush your dreams now and tell you that I've never seen it.
Oh my god. I don't know, it was just one of those films that I obviously watched at Halloween. And then I just didn't watch it at Halloween, and I just watched it the rest
all the time.
I just think, like, I really appreciate, and I think maybe over the years my tastes changed and developed, but I love something that has really nuanced characters. And like there's certain TV shows like Schitt's Creek that I've never seen a TV series where there's so many nuanced characters and they all go on their own individual journeys, and there's so much character development within a one kind of series. And the reason why I love Hocus Pocus is because, like, the three main witches are all so different and nuanced and like I'm relatively not impatient, but like I've got quite a busy mind, so the thought of like sitting down and watching a film isn't something that's ever really appealed to me. I love going to the cinema and making like a night of it, buying some picnics and having a lovely time, but for me, series all the way.
And it's really hard. You find that I'm the same. I love the cinema, but I find like I have to have gone out for a meal or something beforehand, or know I'm going afterwards because I just like to talk. So, you know, you'll be like, oh my God, is that guy from so-and-so? And people in the cinema are like, will you shut up?
I think that when I go to the cinema, I leave the cinema with like a list of 10, 15 films that are coming out soon. And I go, I want to watch that. 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 And then I never do.
Literally ever. No. So if you could receive a masterclass in anything, what would it be, and who would you like to be your tutor?
I've been producing music since I was like 12, 13, but I've never actually had any lessons. It's kind of like I've always just been self-taught, and I used to hate getting like music theory lessons as a kid and like practicing my scales, but now that I'm in my mid-20s and I'm producing music on the regs and I'm, you know, doing stuff with music, I'm so glad I practiced my scales. Probably still not as much as I should have done, but I did. But yeah, I would love to receive a masterclass from someone like Calvin Harris or like a great music producer that just knows what they're talking about and knows a lot about all of that in music production.
Yeah, amazing. That's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's weird how things that you did when you were a child that you maybe like loathed or like didn't really want. I know I remember sitting there and they were going, "You're going to do your music theory exam," and you're like, "I don't care about this."
No. And now I'm like teaching people music theory, and I'm like, how has this happened? This was like, had his music theory books all the time, but never opened them. And then like,
I used to do my homework, like I'd be, because my music theory lessons were obviously like private tuition, so you had to do them after school, but the day of them I'd be in the school library or something, and I'd be like, oh my god, I haven't done, so I'd sit there and do them.
Yeah.
And they'd go, wow, you've really put in a lot of work here. But I had friends who like were so good at music theory and I just wasn't. I just couldn't see it. Like, I'm really bad at math, so like the whole like counting and, oh god, it's not me. And
like, it never used to click for me, and I like key signatures and time signatures and music theory never used to click for me. And then all of a sudden, I was probably about 19, 20, and I just went, oh. But I genuinely think there is like, if you just keep going with something, even if you keep ticking away at it really easily, things like music theory or French even, one day it will just go.
Yeah. So my last question for you, I don't know if you'll be able to answer it, but what is next for you? So when things start picking up again, have you got anything in the pipeline, or any hopes that things will pick up again?
I mean, when I came back, I still had 5-6 months left of my contract. So it was like the rug was literally pulled. Like so the way that our contract worked was we were going back to rehearsal studios while the ship was being refurbed to change one of the shows.
Okay.
And so we thought we were only going to be off the ship for 2 weeks. And here we are 6 months later, and I've still got loads of my belongings on the ship. So it's a weird feeling. Yeah, when I came back, my agent was just like, bear with, because we'll get you sorted, and don't worry, because the time will come. Obviously, everyone's in the same boat, so I'm really grateful to have a great agent that's just kind of got my back, if you like. And you know, I'm making things happen for myself. I'm kind of doing concerts and keeping active in terms of performing. But yeah, I've had a few auditions, but a lot of stuff's getting postponed. A lot of stuff's getting cancelled. And as well, everyone's unemployed at the moment, so you know,
that's the thing, isn't it?
My friend made a joke to me the other day, and he was like, well, this is, in this day and age, Dame Judi Dench is going to be like third cover. You know, like everyone is unemployed, and you know, so it's definitely shifted everyone's career path. But I have a very kind of deep feeling that I'm always in the right place at the right time, and what's right for me won't kind of go by me, and if something doesn't happen, then it wasn't supposed to be for me. And you know, I'm very kind of at peace with the fact that when the right thing is out there, I will be part of it. So yeah, like I say, I've had a few auditions, and there's a few stuff kind of going back and forward, but hopefully in the next kind of few months something will start to materialize. But
please. I mean,
it's a challenging time, but it's also a really exciting time, because never before has theatre had a clean slate. Never before has theatre had a fresh start, with fresh eyes, and kind of, obviously it's so worrying that there's such a lack of funding, and there's, you know, financially it's not great. But on the flip side, this is a real great opportunity to start fresh. An experience of going to the theatre is not going to be the same.
No.
But that shouldn't be a bad thing. That should be how exciting that we've got new kind of ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a real opportunity to develop the new normal, like you say.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me.
No worries, thank you.
No worries. I love your plants in the background, by the way.
Thank you. I strategically, they're normally on my windowsill, but because the laptop's here, I thought I'd put them behind me. And
I love that strategically placed backdrop.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
See you later.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much, Ross. Another fantastic interview. Hope you guys are staying safe and well, and that you've got a coat and a hoodie and a bobble hat, and because I know that it's getting cold. Oh. Winter is arriving. It's on the horizon. Let's hope for snow. Take care, everyone. See you again soon with another brilliant guest. Bye.